Hi, this is the History of Israel podcast, an Each My Own Beat podcast. Over the coming weeks, months, and years, we'll be discussing the history of Israel. This is not a podcast to say which side is right, which side is wrong. It's not a podcast to talk about the war which is happening in Palestine. It's just simply the history of Israel. Welcome back to the History of Israel podcast, episode number 13. I wanted to apologize for the delay in the last podcast. I had a family emergency and all my podcasts were delayed due to that. The Babylonian period, 587 to 538 BCE. The First Revolt, the 597 defeat. During the late 7th century BCE, Judah became a vassal state of the Neo-Babylonian Empire. In 601 BCE, Yakoam of Judah allied with Babylonian's principal rival, Egypt, despite the strong reminiscences of the prophet Jeremiah. As a punishment, the Babylonians besieged Jerusalem in 597 BCE, and the city surrendered. The defeat was recorded by the Babylonians. Nebuchadnezzar pillaged Jerusalem and deported King Jehoiakim, along with the other prominent citizens, to Babylon. Zedekiah and his uncle was installed as king. A few years later, Zedekiah launched another revolt against Babylon, and his army was sent to conquer Jerusalem. Second Revolt, 587 to 586 defeat. In 587 or 586 BCE, King Nebuchadnezzar II of Babylon conquered Jerusalem, destroyed the first temple, and razed the city. The kingdom of Judah was abolished, and many of the citizens were exiled to Babylon. The former territory of Judah became a Babylonian province called Yehud, with its center in Mizpah, north of the destroyed Jerusalem. Babylonian diaspora after 587-586 BCE. Tablets that described King Jericho's rations were found in the ruins of Babylon. He was eventually released by the Babylonians. According to both the Bible and the Talmud, the Davidic dynasty continued as head of Babylonian Jewry and called Rosh Galat, exiled or head of exile. Arab and Jewish sources showed that Rosh Galat continued to exist for another 1,500 years and was now Iraq, ending in the 11th century. This has been the History of Israel podcast. Check back every Wednesday for new episodes. We're available on Apple, iTunes, Google Podcasts, as well as Spotify. We also have each episode streaming on YouTube. Like, subscribe, comment, and share. We're available on eattomyownbeat.com as well as the History of Israel podcast on Facebook.